Alright, so this is our first venture into Belgrade. It's a pretty big city, definitely the biggest one in the Balkans that we've been to. Possibly the biggest one. Had a little bit of an issue finding our parking area due to the Cyrillic alphabet, but we persevered. And now we're on the hunt for some dinner. So we found a place in the air conditioning because it is hot outside.
It's the theme to The Godfather.
Is it?
I think it is.
We found this little stretch of bars here with these cool frescoes painted. This is the Bohemian Quarter in Belgrade. Alright, so we're doing a free walking tour like we did in Sarajevo, now in Belgrade. This is the Republic Square. We have the National Museum over here, and we're going to learn some things about Belgrade. This is a statue of Prince Michael in front of the National Museum. He's the most important person in Serbian history. He was killed because he was in love with his niece, though. And over here is the National Theater. He was responsible for that being built, as well as the museum. We also just learned that Belgrade was, just like the rest of Yugoslavia, in the middle of the Ottoman and the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Geographically, it was in the middle, so that means it was fought over. Belgrade holds the distinction for being the most fought over city in Europe. There were 114 battles here, and it was completely destroyed 44 times. It's pretty incredible.
We're making a toast to people, so you're wishing people long life.
Yeah.
And we say that with Živeli.
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 Živeli. Ooh, it's got some kick.
Little kick.
Yeah, but it tastes very good. Very tasty.
Let's live on for the same. Let's live healthy.
Not bad. Tastes a little cinnamony. This is rakia. It's the national drink of Serbia. They drink it all the time when they wake up in the morning, before and after dinner. They put it on their wounds.
If you're depressed.
Yeah, it's a medicine, it's a drink, it's everything you want it to be. This one is made from honey, so it's sweeter than typical, and it's about 30% alcohol. So we expected to get a little bit difference of perspective about the history of this area in Serbia versus in Bosnia. In Bosnia and elsewhere, it's commonly understood that World War I started in Sarajevo with the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, which we talked about in the last walking tour. Here, it was mentioned that it's kind of more believed that the war actually started here because this is where the first combat took place in Belgrade. It was right after the assassination, so that's kind of the catalyst which sparked it. But in Serbia, they kind of, I guess, think that the actual war started here. Serbia doesn't recognize Kosovo's independence because we just learned that Serbia was originally founded in what is currently Kosovo. That's why they don't want to give it up.
I didn't know that.
Either. Also, Belgrade means white city.
Because of the phosphorus? Was it chalk?
Yeah, where's the stones that were mined by the Romans. Here we are approaching the fortress, which is the most important structure in the city. It's in the middle of a pretty nice park. And all the cars parked around it kind of ruined the image of it being a medieval fortress. And here we are entering one of the gates of the fortress. Not sure one, there are a few of them built by the Romans and the Ottomans and the Austro-Hungarians. as is par for the course in this part of the world. Everything switched hands a few times. These white stones here are the white stones that the Romans used to build, and what gave Belgrade its name. And all these red brick walls over here were built by the Austro-Hungarians. So it's cool to see the different building materials used by the different empires when they were here. This is a viewpoint from on the corner of the fortress, and this here is the confluence of the Sava River and the Danube right there. Also, this here is an island, and the Danube flows on the other side of it, around the back that way, and then into Europe. That's the second longest river in Europe. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a little bit of a mixing of colors right there where they flow into one another. So this bridge here is pretty important for Serbs. During the NATO bombings in the 90s, they had orders to bomb this bridge. So, you know, it was announced that they were going to bomb it. So as a form of protest, the civilians stood on the bridge with t-shirts printed with targets on them and things like that. Pilots were flying over, and even though they had orders to bomb the bridge, they refused to because of all the civilians, and they managed to save the bridge. Bands would come and play concerts there, and it turned into sort of a place that was representative of Serbian pride. And yeah, kind of a unusual happy story from the NATO bombings. This elevator at our apartment in Belgrade is kind of interesting.
It always stops at the second floor, even if you don't push 2. If you push 4, it'll stop at 2, so you have to keep pushing it. Turn it like this, open it, little chamber. Looks like we're...
Close the other side.
Oh gosh. Here we go. Alright. Then it's ready. Did it stop at 2?
Yep.
Yep.
As our
expected.
As our Airbnb host said, it has a brain of its own.
Hey, this is Fahad for the Adventures of Justin and Kristen. We are right in front of the Nikola Tesla Museum. Really looking forward to going in. We've been talking about it, wondering all the crazy wonders and invention of Tesla that we are going to experience. So stay tuned.
Tesla was born in Serbia, by the way, and then later became an American.
And they're very proud of him. They even have him on some of their currency. So.
Yeah.
He's a national hero.
Found a Weston voltmeter. This was used in Newark, New Jersey.
Or was it created in Newark? Or was it developed in Newark, New Jersey?
It doesn't specify, but nonetheless. Don't ever say Newark is good for nothing.
That's right.
Okay, everybody ready? Yeah! 3, 2, 1.
Here is the urn containing Tesla's ashes. So we are eating lunch here on the River Danube, and I got some goulash. Something about eating goulash on the Danube.
You know what that makes me think of? Sitting on the dock of the bay, Watching the tide.
Okay, so right now we are in the district of Zeman, possibly Zeman. We're not sure how to pronounce it, of course, but this was formerly a separate city, and in the 30s it was absorbed by Belgrade. And it does very much feel part of Belgrade now. It's just one kind of sprawling metropolis. And it does look a little different though. It looks pretty old. Not quite as like vertical as the center of the city that we've been staying in. So it gives a little bit of a different feel. We came here at the recommendation of our free walking tour host. She recommended to come out here. It's kind of like a city within a city. I think it's a pretty apt description. We've only been here for a couple of hours and it's a totally different feel. A little bit more laid back and it looks different architecture. So here we are at the Parliament building. And they have a huge wall of political messages here that it's pretty explicit. Understandably, the NATO bombings are a sensitive topic here. And there are pictures of dead bodies, burned bodies, things that we probably would be shielded from at home. They're not afraid to post things that are shocking. Pictures of the victims here. And here we are on the other side. And it continues. More disturbing pictures, photos of the victims. Very direct messages. Continues on.